we got this film together called The Stoic, and we just went for it. Neither of us really knew how to make a film in some senses, because there's a lot more to it. And we just learned along the way, because if you don't just go for it, you're never going to do it, because there's too many reasons not to do it.
In the 1970s, Crossroads, it was up there with Coronation Street. It was one of the big soap operas that everybody in this country watched.
We all have like 3 different accents here. You talk to a little kid and they have a cut on their hand. You're like, oh, you have a boo-boo.
I've done Emmerdale, Coronation Street, Hollyoaks, Doctors, Casualty, Holby City. The only one that I've not done is EastEnders.
Hi, I'm Stacey Jackson.
And I'm Roy Bassnett.
Join us for the Gen-X-Perience podcast every other week.
So if you were born between 1965 and 1980, that makes you a Gen Xer. And that being the case, that makes this podcast for you.
We are interviewing the most amazing people from all over the world in all walks of life, discussing culture, music, and politics.
The range is incredible. You're going to get to hear some wonderful stories.
So join us every other week for the Gen-X-Perience podcast. I'm Stacey Jackson.
And I'm Roy Bassnett. Hello and welcome to the Gen-X-Perience podcast with me, Roy Bassnett.
And me, Stacey Jackson, right out of the 80s. Hi, I know this is going to be a long day, isn't it?
You know, I was thinking, because, you know, I've been looking at the last few episodes, and, you know, all this tech that you brought in, you know,
this tech.
Yeah, all this stuff.
Tech.
No, tech.
Oh,
Not
tech. I was going to say, this is very high tech.
Yeah, high tech. I mean, obviously, prior to making the podcast, you'd gone down, I don't know, Soho or somewhere like that and bought all this shit.
Yes.
Anyway, so
tchotchkes.
Yeah.
We bought tchotchkes.
No, I decided to tidy the desk up a little bit and thought, well, perhaps maybe we could move into a more sophisticated approach. But of course, on the opening gambit, straight off, you've got your crazy glasses on.
Yes,
so
of course.
All my good work is in vain.
I love a bit of tat. I love it. I mean, I think it suits me. Although I have to be honest with you, I can't see bloody shit with this anyway. But you want to know something? Till this day, and it's like, what, 40 years since this was like a thing, right? This
Dr. Rubik, yeah.
Yes, Rubik's Cube. Rubik's Cube. Well, can I tell you, my son can do this with his eyes closed. It's amazing. Because there's obviously some algorithm.
Hang on a sec. He can't do it with his eyes closed. How can he possibly do it with your eyes?
I promise, because
what is he, Uri Geller or something?
Yeah,
either?
He's amazing. And there's obviously some algorithm that, like, you know, turn to the left, two to the right, this and up, and up and down,
Casper Slide.
You just can look at it and go, okay, I know which cube needs to go where, and then, you know, turn, twist. For years, I tried to figure it out. I was able to get a few sides, but that was about as much as I could do. And I'm sure I was doing it wrong, but I got to a couple of sides. And anyway, my son taught my daughter how to do Rubik's Cube. First of all, that takes a lot of patience, but the way he taught her, and you'd appreciate this, was he wrote a song he took a song, he wrote the lyrics to a song that was familiar to her with the algorithm in the song. So it was like, and two to the left and red to the right and and it was, I don't remember, but it was about 5 years ago or 6 years ago. And now she does it like without even thinking about it, just like fidget. And I can't even retain what I did 5 minutes ago, yet let alone a whole algorithm for this.
To me, I don't have the attention span to be able to do that. As far as I'm concerned, I'm looking at thinking, what value is in for me? I could have watched a Netflix series by the time I'd have ended up doing it.
You could have watched, could have read War and Peace by the time I could have finished that.
Now, I don't know whether we should mention this, but, I'm going to mention it anyway, because you've come all the way up to Liverpool
I did.
to do this podcast. And for some bizarre reason, prior to the recording of this podcast, you said, I'm going to get my makeup done. And you said, do I know any makeup artists?
Yes.
So you went somewhere. Do you want to mention anybody?
I do.
Did you have a conversation with these?
Because I was really worried I was going to end up, looking like the Bride of Frankenstein. Because, you sort of walk into some place and you're like, okay, do my makeup. But you actually recommended through a friend, Peaches and Cream. And it's like this gorgeous little shop in central Liverpool and with gorgeous, incredibly talented makeup artists in there. Right. And they just took one look at me and I told them in 2 seconds how I kind of like what I like and the colors I like. And he just got it. I mean,
Oh, it was a he. It was a man. It was a bloke.
He, yes,
Yeah, yeah.
yes. And he was awesome. And I'm all fluttery and lash-tastic. And I want to just give a real props to this team of people. And what's his name? Dean Alexander. Oh, you're so cute. And that's again, you laugh every time I say you're cute. I mean, I use that word with like endearment, my darling. Right. I mean it. And they were very talented. And anyway, I'm not, patting myself on the back, but I think you did a great job because having done my makeup professionally for the past how many years I was as a performer. It's hard to get it right. So thank you for the recommendation.
Just did a great plug on our podcast. Yes. Maybe we should invoice him for that.
Yeah. We can have him on, but he's definitely not Gen X. Our guest today is called Scott Wright, and he is an actor and producer. And he started his career at a very young age, but people might recognize him from the British soap opera Coronation Street.
Right.
And apparently he was like the hottie Scotty. Actually, I think he's hotter now, but don't tell my husband I said that. And I'm going to call him up right now. Let me just put my earphones on. Scott, are you there?
Stacey, I am here.
Yes, hello. Sorry, I'm like having a fidget here with my earphones. There we go.
He's with us.
He's with us. And so is
he's not alone.
So is the cat.
Well. The cat will get in the mix. The cat's a Bengal and she's called Baby.
Yeah.
So she's there. No one puts Baby in the corner.
Baby in the corner.
We've got nobody puts Baby in the podcast now. Maybe he's going to be in it today. Maybe we could call it a puss cast.
A puss cat. A pussy cat.
Hey, now this. You like that? I'm glad.
Yeah.
No, here's the thing, Scott. What I've got to say, because I, as you do on these occasions, you do a little bit of research and you go to that real credible organisation, Wikipedia, to find out a few bits and bobs about it. Yeah, it's all true. Now, here's the thing, though. Stacey mentioned you started your career at a very young age, and there's something I found out about you that would bear that out. Is it right, or is this a mistake, that you were in Crossroads?
I was in Crossroads and I'd forgotten about that, but this was going back 2003, I think it was. I was employed in Crossroads. I was the second guest lead after, I think it was Emma Noble, who was married to the Prime Minister's son. I was in it as a guest lead, and every week when they relaunched Crossroads, they had like a new guest lead in it. Lionel Blair was one, I was one. So yeah, I was in it.
But I think we need to explain to Stacey what Crossroads is. And then I hope we're talking about the same thing. Crossroads, as in the television hotel series set in Birmingham.
It was filmed in Nottingham. So
I knew it was Midlands anyway. But the bottom line is, in the 1970s, Crossroads was it was up there with Coronation Street. It was one of the big soap operas that everybody in this country watched. But it was famous for wobbly sets and things like that. It never had the budget that, should we say, Coronation Street or EastEnders had. But I think that's great that you got to work with Lionel Blair.
I got to work with Jane Asher, which is quite impressive in itself as well. Lionel was in it the week after I was in it, and Jane Asher was in it. And I remember she was talking about baking cakes, and I was talking about what it was like being engaged to a Beatle. Do you know what I mean? That was more impressive to me. I remember shooting that. I got the flu and I was really, really poorly, but I still did it. I honestly think that they'd recreated Crossroads to make it like a tax write-off for ITV, because they literally built this lavish set. There was no shaky sets, and they built this amazing lavish set, and then they just canned it after about 12 episodes. So it was nice in a way to be like a small part of, television history. And actually, I've done Emmerdale, Coronation Street, Hollyoaks, Doctors, Casualty, Holby City. The only one that I've not done is EastEnders. So it was good to be in that.
We'll come back to your career in a short while, but I suppose I've got to ask the question to you, Stacey. How do you know Scott?
We met a while ago, like 10 or 12 years ago. It was I had auditioned for a movie that, by the way, never got made. It's a whole other story.
No, of course it didn't, but that's a long story.
That is such a long, but that's like 10 podcasts. Oh. That's like hours of conversation. That's more than just
Stacey.
Yeah, that is for sure. That's definitely like in the book. So My PR at the time said, "Oh, I have a great friend of mine who you have to meet. He's an actor and he also teaches, and he'd be great to run lines with and coach you." So he did. So I met Scott like through our mutual friend Sean, and he coached me for this role, which I got, and then I introduced him to the director. And then it was all downhill from there. I'm sorry for the introduction.
Yeah.
Is that how you remember it? Is that how you remember it, Scott?
We can't really say much, can we? Because we'd probably get, well, it'd be funny to get sued off them people, wouldn't it? But it was just kind of what makes the film industry bad. You know, it wasn't a good side of the film industry, was it, Stacey? But it was.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
It was very like positive to meet you, and you're a dear friend of mine. Even though we don't see each other very often, we still talk and we still keep in touch, don't we? I came down to your lovely place in London, didn't I? In February, was it?
Yeah,
something like that.
Mm. And when I'm in Manchester, I see you, and it's funny because we all have like 3 different accents here, and we're all speaking the same language. But just the other day we were talking, and like there's certain things that like when I even still till today I say American words, right? Like the word Band-Aid. We talked about this the other day.
Apparently, if you get a cut, it's called a boobie.
No, a boo-boo.
Oh, a boo-boo.
Boo.
Right.
Don't you know that when you talk to a little kid and they have a cut on their hand, you're like, "Oh, you have a boo-boo." It's not a boobie, it's a boo-boo. Oh. Anyway, so and then you put a Band-Aid on it, but here you call it a plaster
or a bandage
or a plaster.
Right.
Sorry, plaster.
Okay.
Anyway, so yeah.
And if you're up north, it's a plaster. It's a plaster. If you're up
it's
north.
plaster.
Where are you from, Scott? Where did you originate from?
I was born in Ashton-under-Lyne, which is near Manchester, and I lived there till I was about 9. And then I moved to Glossop, which is in Derbyshire, and I live in Hollingworth now, which is in Cheshire. So I've moved around a little bit. When I was in Coronation Street, I lived in the centre of Manchester, which for a 25-year-old, moving next door to the studios was a really bad move. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
It allowed me the license to stay out quite late and then roll in to work the next day. So yeah.
Is it true though? Because I mean, I know quite a few people who've done Corrie, and they always say that it can be pretty intense because a lot of people think, we've got a marvelous kind of life that people live as a result of being in, the country's best soap opera, but the workload is pretty punishing, isn't it?
The workload is punishing in a factory, probably working in Tesco's, I guess, and things like that. It can be long hours. The difficulty with being an actor for me is learning the lines. So, that always used to be a problem. I'm a massive procrastinator, so I would always clean the apartment. I would always clean the car. Do you know what I mean? But it's a joy to be an actor. So it's not even work, really. It's just, you're really lucky to get that gig.
Exactly. If you love what you do, it doesn't feel like work.
So, Scott, on your time when you were at Coronation Street, I mean, there's some real iconic characters in there that have been on the street for years. What was it like working with them and what were they like with you?
It was exceptional because, I'm kind of the right age. I was brought up watching Coronation Street when it was in its classic heyday with, Jack and Vera and Betty's Hot Pot and all of that. So I was just right at the tail end of when all them legends, became legends. They were all of a certain age and they were all some of them were coming to the end of their careers and lives even, I guess. And I was just very, very fortunate to be in the mix with that. And I remember my first day, it was a Sunday, and I was obviously really, really nervous. And I turned up and there's Betty sat there, Ken Barlow's sat there, Kevin Webster's sat there, Emily sat there, Rita sat there. And I just sat down and I talked to them for a little while. I filmed my first few scenes. And when I finished, within 24 hours, it was just kind of normal, but it was a privilege. And when I was in it, it was getting huge ratings. It was 18 million views, obviously, because I was in it. It was a great show. And I was lucky to be with all them legends of the soap. Betty Driver, Betty's Hot Pot. She was in it when I was in it. So it was brilliant. I remember my stripping scene, which was my kind of famous scene, I guess. And I stripped in the Rovers, took my clothes off in the Rovers. And Betty was in that. And I gave her a kiss, and then that's I think that got about 18 million viewers. So it was a big TV episode, that, and it was great. It was great. It was the big honor to be on the program when it
I can imagine
like
that. What we need to do is just backtrack a little bit here, because during the course of that conversation, Scott mentioned hot pots, and you looked a little bit confused by it. Are you familiar with what a hot pot is?
I had no clue what he was saying.
Did you think
until
that
he said I took my clothes off, and then I was like, I perked up, and then I'm thinking, okay.
Scott can explain to you what a hot pot is.
Yeah, can you please?
Well, I mean, do you want the adult version, or do you want what a hot pot actually is?
Hey, listen, we're not bothered. We'll take both. Whatever
please,
comes
okay,
because
first.
this is a global listenership here, so you might need to translate.
So Betty's hot pot is like Lancashire hot pot. It's like meat and potatoes and a bit of onions, bit of a pastry. And when anyone used to go in the Rovers, traditionally they'd go in and they'd just go, hot pot, please, Betty. So I think they made that a brand eventually.
But when you mean it, is there like another double entendre
sexual
there?
connotation out of hot pot.
I mean, probably, but I'm not going to go there. So let's move on swiftly. Yeah.
Okay, let's move on. This is a perfect opportunity for me to ask a question about your music, because I do know that you are extraordinarily talented, and also growing up in the sort of era that we grew up in. Of course, Roy's a little older than us, but so I just wanted to know, like, what was your favorite music growing up, and like what artists and bands kind of shaped your teenage years, and if there was any memorable concert or something that you went to when you were a kid. What inspired you from that era, to continue with your own music? And because I don't know if you know this, Roy, but he's an extremely talented singer, and he plays guitar. He's very, very good. So yeah, what do you think about that? What inspired you, and what has continued to move with you from that generation, now to now?
My first 7-inch single on vinyl was Adam and the Ants, Stand and Deliver. Roy knows that. Stacey, are you aware of Adam and the Ants? So did you get that?
Do I know Adam and the Ants? Yes.
So
definitely.
he's actually still touring. I've got him on my Instagram. That's the mad thing about Instagram, though. He was like the biggest pop star in the country, and then quite big globally, but he's only got like 50,000 followers on Instagram. So that was my first single. And then I used to listen to Queen a lot. I'll be honest, I really loved the Pet Shop Boys, although I did meet Neil Tennant once, and he was a bit strange to me. So I've tried to manage my feelings towards the Pet Shop Boys since that moment. And yeah, just bands like that. And nowadays, I know going forward, big Radiohead fan, but obviously the Beatles. I remember when I was growing up and I was a kid at junior school, we used to have a pianist there. One of the teachers played piano, and she used to, instead of getting us to sing hymns and stuff, she'd play Penny Lane and things like that. Yeah. And
that's a cool teacher.
Oh, so cool. So cool. So we'd learn all the lyrics to Penny Lane and Strawberry Fields and things. So my musical education was certainly the Beatles, a little bit older, certainly the Pet Shop Boys, Adam and the Ants, and Queen. Who doesn't like Queen?
So for the benefit of people who might not have heard the music that you produce yourself, I mean, based on those kind of influences there, would we detect a little bit of that? How would you describe your music?
I'm a pianist and a guitar player, but I'm first and foremost a singer. So I started singing first, and then I started playing musical instruments second, mainly because musicians, and they'll admit that themselves, are a little bit unreliable. So I'd turn up
just
the gigs.
Take it on yourself.
Yeah, the guitarist wouldn't be there. So I thought, well, I can stop this problem by learning myself. But I don't really write many songs, but some of the songs that I've wrote have aired on the side of darker sort of songs, and they're lended from, probably from Radiohead and things like that. Despite my feelings towards meeting Neil Tennant, I do still love the Pet Shop Boys.
Oh, the Pet Shop Boys music's fantastic. I would put the Pet Shop Boys up there as one of my favourite bands, and I love the music of it. You won't make any sense of the lyrics whatsoever. They don't make no sense.
West End Girls?
Yeah, well, West End Girls. Like, Reindeer General. I'm not sure what a Reindeer General is. That's a line from, Left to My Own Devices, I think it is, or something like that. But the production of it, Pet Shop Boys.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you're a
fantastic.
synth pop guy. You
I love
love
synth pop,
the synth pop.
They're not the most. I can't imagine, because my wife went to see the Pet Shop Boys a couple of years back. And I can't imagine they're massively dynamic on stage. Music, can't argue with it. Then Northern lads as well, one from Blackpool, one from Sheffield. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was funny because they are tremendously flamboyant as well. Neil Tennant is. He likes to dress up, he gets all the kit on. And Chris Lowe just doesn't do much. Well, Chris Lowe's amazing, isn't he? He creates the music, and
he's the man.
I think Neil Tennant writes the lyrics, but I have seen them a couple of times and they are quite impressive. But you know what? They're both amazing. They're both amazing musicians.
Yeah. No, they are. And again, it's another one of those, where their songs will get played even now. Like it's all over TikTok, and and even my kids know a Pet Shop Boy record. I mean, that's.
I'm thinking here then, seeing as we're both, obviously Scott and I are both lovers of Pet Shop Boys. For me, Domino Dancing, probably the best one. What would you say for the Pet Shop Boys?
I like a lot of their music. I like Domino Dancing. I like Always on My Mind, although that was Elvis.
Yeah, but their version was great. Their version was great.
I like really good. The one, What Have I Done to Deserve This, with Dusty Springfield as well. Very underrated tune, that, guys, isn't it?
Yeah.
That is a good song. That's a good shout, by the way. Now, what do you have coming up? Okay, so now let's bring it back to now. And I'm very, very proud of this boy, my friend.
I can see that.
I am, because he's
definitely a hot pot for you, isn't he?
He's great because he took the bull by the horns, basically. Like he said, not only did he figure out, okay, so there were so many unreliable musicians out there, I just learned how to play guitar. The thing about Scott, and that's a great example, is that, he wanted to get a movie made, and he just made it. He produced it. He put the whole thing together. He's like, you know what? Given the experience that we've had in the industry, he realized, you know what? Let's just get shit done.
Yeah.
And who's going to do it, and who's going to care more about a project that you're so passionate about than yourself? So I want him to tell us about his latest movie, which is now. I can't, every time I see you posting about how it's now worldwide and it's been bought in the States, I'm I want to cry. I'm so excited for you. So tell me about this new movie.
You've been on that journey with me we've known each other about 10 years, and you've been in and around that. And you know how much I love being an actor, but nobody's giving me a job. And after the pandemic, it finished then and it was just over. So that's not being negative. That's a fact for a lot of actors. I just got to that point where it's either raise some money and pay for the movie yourself as well, or just do something else. And that's not an option. I've never had a plan B. So I partnered up with Jonathan Eckersley, who's a first AD on quite a few soaps and stuff. And he wanted to move up to directing. And we got this film together called The Stoic. And we just went for it. Neither of us really knew how to make a film in some senses, because there's a lot more to it. Not just making the film, but selling the film to, American distributors and getting involved with sales agents and things. And we just learned along the way, because if you don't just go for it, you're never going to do it, because there's too many reasons not to do it. So we didn't think about that. We just made it. And luckily, somewhere down the line, we managed to get Jason Fleming from Snatch and Lock, Stock and Benjamin Button.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so we managed to get him to do it. So, and also Bruce Payne, who was in Dungeons and Dragons and Passenger 57. And so once they came on board, it made it into, a possibility to sell it. And then I got an international press release out. And the film, as Stacey said, has gone around the world. We sold it to Saban in America, who created the Power Rangers. Saban are now owned by Disney. And it went straight out there. It went on a few cinemas. It went on Amazon Prime over there. Apple TV is still out over there on Apple TV and Amazon Prime. And finally, last week, it went out on Apple TV, Amazon Prime, and Sky over here as well. So, and it's gone around the world. We sold to Japan, New Zealand, Australia, Spain, loads of places.
What's the premise of the movie? What's it about?
I was going to ask.
So basically, I wanted to make a film about a guy who cared for his daughter, etc., and it just wouldn't have sold. So we came up with an idea about a heist gone wrong, a la Reservoir Dogs. You don't see the heist, but they've taken along a couple of younger girls, that they've kidnapped as collateral. And it's basically a drug deal gone wrong. And the Stoic is a guy from an ancient clan of smugglers. He's got high moral value. He refuses to not right wrongs. So he sees that there's something going wrong and he just goes about smashing everyone's faces in basically and killing everyone, which is what sells a movie these days, apparently.
Yeah.
So now that's out and done. And so what do you have? Are you working on something else at the moment, or you're taking a little bit of a sabbatical and enjoying this ride with the Stoic? It was the Stoic.
Yeah.
Stoic,
with the Stoic.
Stoic. It's what I have to be when I'm working with you.
Stoic. You have to be stoic, Roy. Stoic.
Yes.
No, you know what? It's nearly Christmas. I'll be working anyway. I always work over Christmas, so I'll be doing a little tour of theaters over Christmas and stuff. But after that, yeah, I'm going to make another film. But I'm not going to be able to make a film for that amount of money anymore. We weren't just lucky. We planned it right, but we got a lot of favors off people, great people, and thank you for that. But next time I need a bigger budget, so I'm going to go about. I've got an idea
raising
for
some money.
Start raising some proper money. Yeah, start raising some proper money and do things differently. You learn by your mistakes. There was a few mistakes made, but it is a learning process. And this is not the end. I'm definitely going to make another film, but it is a lot of stress.
Yeah. If you've got a bit of time to kill, you're surfing through the various platforms. What's your go-to movie?
I watched it last night, Roy. Heat, Robert De Niro and Al Pacino.
Oh, right.
And I met Robert De Niro. I've got the pictures to prove it. I just I chatted to him about Heat, and that encompasses everything in a film. It's fast-paced. It's got action in it. It's got some amazing moments in it for anyone who knows it, like the cafe scene in it, where Pacino and De Niro are finally on screen together. And it's like a chess match between actors. And that's what made me want to become an actor. That and The Shawshank Redemption, which was the same year roughly. And The Shawshank Redemption, funnily enough, a bit of fate involved in how life goes full circle. I ended up doing the play for Bill Kenwright.
I saw you in that play. You were phenomenal.
Yes,
I came to see you in the show. You were outstanding. The play was phenomenal. And I love the movie also. But it was great. He was awesome. Well, we are running out of time, but we do not want to lose you until you play our trivia.
Forgot. Yeah.
And so I'm going to read you one, and then hopefully you get it right, and then
you get 4 questions, Scott. You get 4 questions, right?
But you have to get 2 out of the 4, right?
Yeah. Well, you have to get 4 out of the 4.
Okay,
if you want to do it. You can get 2 out of 4 if you want.
Okay. It's a random.
Just before we start, by the way, Scott, in the event of you needing a clue,
don't ask me.
Stacey's clues can be sometimes very misleading, as you'll find out. But we'll go with it anyway. Go on.
Okay, we're shuffling. Look, shuffling the cards. I don't know what it's going to be on the bottom of the card. I'm going to pick the top card, okay? And I'm just going to read. Oh, damn it. I need my glasses. Hold on a second. This is when I show my Gen X age. Okay. In which year was the cartoon Thundercats first aired? And I'm going to give you a multiple choice. Yes.
Multiple choice, yeah.
Was it A, 1981, B, 1985, or C, 1988?
81.
No, it was B, 85. But I don't even know who the fuck the Thundercats are. So.
Oh, no. I mean, I'd like to swear on a podcast, though, so I don't even know the fuck No, I do know I know who the fuck the Thundercats are, because there was this program called The Undateables, and they had a girl on it with Tourette's, and one of her tics was Thundercats, fucking Thundercats, like that.
Yeah.
So I know what the Thundercats are.
Right.
I should have known that. I
got a feeling you'll get this one, though. This is a signal, and you're definitely going to get it. I might add, Stacey, be pleased to know. In which TV show did Detective Sonny Crockett appear?
Miami Vice.
Hey, yes! He's got one. You got one. There you are.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, hold on another one.
Back to you.
Roy, what was the colour of his Testarossa, though?
I'm glad you said Testarossa then. I thought he was going to say something else. Yellow?
No, it was white. White Testarossa.
Oh, right. I never watched you. I know you were a big fan, Stacey. I did watch it on occasion, but yeah. Right. Okay. You do your question.
Okay. I think you'll get this because I think you would totally have been watching this. Okay. So the TV show Knight Rider
Yep.
Remember Knight Rider? Okay.
course I do,
What is the name of Michael Knight's car?
Kit.
Yes. Yes. KITT. I think it stands for something, but I don't know what. Do you
And
know what it stands
that
for?
was as well. That was the campest car in the history. Hello, Michael. Hello, Michael. So camp, wasn't it? I think that car had a little thing for the Hoff. We all do, though. We all do.
Well,
Nothing
there
wrong
we
with
are.
that.
Right, here's your final one.
Final
here.
question.
And speaking of somebody who is, not averse to stripping yourself, which group were stripped of their 1990 Grammy for Best New
I
Artist?
know the answer.
Yeah, I know
Nilly
you know.
vanilly.
There you go, yeah! That's 3 out of 4. I'd say in the league table
I
of
think
things.
he is in the lead
he
of
could
all
be
of
in the
us.
lead.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm disappointed about that Thundercats question. I should have thought that through more.
No, don't worry about it. I promise you. I came in yesterday and I'm like, I know I've got all of them. In the hotel room, I was just crushing it. And of course, we whip out the cards and he asked me on air and I got all of them wrong. I'm like, but in all fairness, they were like random questions about Cabbage Patch dolls. I mean, I didn't even have a Cabbage Patch doll.
I did, though,
Anyway.
but don't tell anyone. Oh, shit, I've just told everyone.
It's out there now. Listen,
Oh, it was so
Scott,
good.
it's been a real pleasure having you on the show. I've really enjoyed
you.
your company. We've
You too.
really enjoyed your company. If people want to find out or monitor your progress, how can they do that?
Oh, why don't you get me loads of Instagram followers? Scott Wright UK.
Yeah, well, you can do that because you got some pull in that department.
Oh, yeah, well,
I might be able to get you one.
Well, me too. I might be able to get you one as well, Roy.
Brilliant. Great speaking to you, Scott.
Thanks,
Thank you
Scott.
You
very
too.
much.
Love
Love
ya.
to see you, Roy.
Mwah.
Thank you, Stacey.
Bye,
Love you
honey.
lots.
Bye.
Yeah, wonderful guest.
Yes,
You
great
know, what
guest.
a guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully that their movie that he, might get to make again, somebody can fund it for him if anybody's out there.
No, he's really talented. I saw the movie. It's not my cup of tea. It's not the kind of flick that I would see. I watched it. He sent it to me before it even went out. And I watched it and he's brilliant in it. I find he is such a talented actor.
You can tell he is because of how natural he is in the way he
Very
speaks to him.
natural.
You can tell how, yeah.
He's very confident, very natural. He's, like he said before, he loves what he does. So you can tell that he doesn't find it work, which is great. I think that's what everybody should be doing is they should be doing what they love.
That's what it's all about.
I know sometimes it's hard to do it, but life's too short.
Right. And unfortunately, our podcast
it has to come to an
it's
end.
got to come to an end now. It's too short. So, yes, thank you very much indeed for watching. And do like and subscribe and follow us on all our usual channels. The Gen-X-Perience podcast with myself, Roy Bass, and Stacey Jackson. And we'll see you next time.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks very much for checking out the Gen-X-Perience podcast. Please do like and subscribe. We look forward to your comments. And if you could give us a 5-star review, that would be really appreciated.